The selection of the pump is indicative to the volume solids. So I mentioned volume solids. Volume solids is how thick the material is. Can we thin the product before we put it on? Do we need to thin it? Do we manipulate the product's viscosity with heat? All of this information is provided in a document like this, which is called a product data sheet. Now the product data sheet is a relevant information I need prior to putting anything through this pump. The data sheet itself will explain what type of product you're applying. It'll also tell you the characteristics of the product itself, which is fundamentally what you need to understand, the characteristics. The most imperative aspect here is the volume solids. How many volume solids is in that tin of paint to give me some indication of transfer efficiency? In this particular instance, we're using a product which is acrylic polyurethane, which is 57% volume solids. And I need to apply that within the realms of the manufacturer's recommendations. This data sheet also tells me drying times. This data sheet also tells me or gives me an indication of what I require, whether I can use an airless spray, an air spray, brush or roller. The other important aspect of it too is mixing. So how do I mix it? What's the mixing ratio? And the important thing as far as this is concerned is the working pot life. So the working pot life is indicative to how long the product will remain fluid before it starts to cross-link or coalesce, dry, harden and so forth. So if I understand all of this, then it gives me an indication of what I'm required here to utilise this pump. So the paint itself, once I mix that, I'm committed then to utilising the airless pump to transfer the material onto the wall as quick as possible prior to the product drying in the tin or in the pump. This is called hot potting. So by putting the catalyst into the base, mixing it up and putting it through the pump, it becomes a hot product. Why is it hot? Because the catalyst in the product is starting to cure or make the product cross-link. So I need to be able to mix the product and put it through the pump as soon as possible so that I don't have inherent problems with the pump stopping because the product's cured in it and so forth. So there's quite a lot involved before we even think about utilising the product through the pump. The other aspect of it too is, of course, that this is a data sheet. The other important aspect that I need to know is, or the information I need to be able to refer to, is the material safety data sheet. So there's two different things, a data sheet and a safety data sheet. The safety data sheet explains to me what's in the product, what can cause me problems, because you've got to remember that an airless pump here is about to atomise something. So that means it's going to put it in the atmosphere as well as put it on the surface. So there's two fundamental aspects. One is the paint itself, and two is what can it do to me. So primarily we have to sort out where we are in relation to how am I going to mix it, what's the equipment required, does it all work, and can I put it on the surface? The other point that you need to refer to, there'll be something else that accommodates this particular piece of information, is a specification. So ultimately, if you're on site and you have to do a job, the job will be indicated, the requirement will be outlined in a specification, which reverts back to the data sheet, which reverts back to the safety data sheet. So all of that information I need before I even think about using an airless pump.